Call to order the May 28, 2013 Recreation Committee meeting. All committee members are present except Dempsey Lambert and Brian Malonzo. Michelle Kinchen will lead us in the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to get together with our Recreation Committee of the Ascension Parish Council and our Parish President, Mr. Martinez, as they tackle the issues facing recreation in present and future. We'd like to ask your guidance and thank you for the opportunity to meet in a free society. We ask that you watch over our men and women in uniform around the globe and here at home. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to remind anyone that has a comment to sign up at the podium. We'll go ahead and go to number 4 on the agenda, Director's Report from Mr. Mike Moeller.
Good evening, Council. Real quick, I just wanted to kind of give an update on the baseball, softball, and the adult leagues that we have going on. Right now, in the baseball, we are starting their post-tournament, their post-season tournament. Their regular season is over, and the post-season tournament is starting this week. Softball girls out at Butch Gore, they're going to have 2 weeks left in their regular season. Then they're going to try to continue to play the rainouts that they have left. Weather permitting, depending on whether or not they get most of those games in, they may or may not have a tournament at the end of that season. The adult leagues, the men's spring softball league has ended, and their summer league is going to start on June 10th. And the co-ed softball league will end their spring season on June 6th. You want to move to the...
Oh, that's all?
Go to the, that's it? Yeah.
Okay, move on to number.
No.
What? Have a question?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I didn't know where you was at. I didn't know where you was at. Fine. On the adult league, can we, when do that start? Is volunteer too? They have to come to the parish recreation to start that league, and what are the requirements for that? Because I know we have some interest on the west side, but they don't know too much about what's going on with it.
Yeah, Michelle pretty much handles the softball part of it. I mean, we do have a guy that kind of oversees everything. He does, the sign-ups and things like that, registrations, scheduling, and so forth. But, I mean, I'm sure on the West Bank they could, if someone would want to volunteer to kind of take the reins and in that aspect, that's kind of the way they run it over here.
Okay.
Still 100% volunteer.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah.
We do, you gotta come with your own team. Like, we don't distribute teams like we do for the kids. You gotta come with.
They kind of put their teams together, each group.
Okay.
It's kind of how
Yeah,
that
there's
goes.
no draft or anything like
All
that.
right.
You just
Is there a fee
bring
for them to play on the what
per
you call?
team.
Okay.
So you can get your team stacked from over there on the West Bank. Come on down to the East Bank.
I'm a little bit too old for that right now. Body broken. All right. Okay, that's all I have. Thanks.
Any questions?
I don't believe. Thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
You want to move on to the
Oh, yes.
next?
And 5, yeah,
Yeah.
parish program pricing.
Yeah, what we have here is just some recreation miscellaneous charges. What we're trying to do is see if we can get an ordinance that would incorporate all of what's listed in front of you. for the ABC, which is the boys baseball, the AYSA, which is the girls softball. We currently have an ordinance for those two, where it's $25 per child for spring sports, and we're trying to get the adult softball league as well as the basketball league underneath an ordinance as well. Within these, we would like to propose a pricing from anywhere from $10 to $30 per child, depending on situations, at the recreation's discretion. We also, right now, we do charge $25 per hour with a 2-hour minimum for any sport who would like to use the lights on the baseball field, on any ball fields that's not scheduled by us. We'd like to get that underneath the ordinance as well, just so we have something in writing. That way, we don't want to give out, freebies, but we just want to make sure that the electricity is getting paid for as well. And after that, let's see, pricing will be brought to the Recreation Committee before the start of each season to explain charges for that sport. Any new program started by the Ascension Parish Recreation Department will be assigned a price at the Recreation Director's discretion and will be considered a pilot program for 1 season. If the activity is considered a success, we will bring the price to the Recreation Committee for approval. In other words, if we wanted to start like a volleyball, program here or wherever, we would like to assign a price, let it run for a year, and then see how it works. If it's successful, then, we can come back and kind of
Amend the
get all
ordinance
that
and put it
taken.
in.
Exactly.
Are y'all working on the ordinance? Y'all have someone legal to put this ordinance together? I guess O'Neill or whoever.
Well, O'Neill, he can. We
Okay.
hadn't approached him.
You need a motion on us to move
Correct.
so we can get an ordinance?
Correct.
Yeah, I'll make that motion so we can be consistent with all sports.
A second motion, but question.
It'll come back to us with the ordinance, once it's ready.
Yeah. Mike, so where you say the fields for the lighting, and I just want to make sure, if you're a travel team, after our season, you're a travel team and you want practice out there, it's going to cost you.
If you turn on the lights, yes.
Just, I want to make
Want
sure
that
that, because,
documented, right?
that's what I'm saying. If any program that we have is not, if they're, any program what they call, I won't say private, but that's what it base is, private leagues,
Not within the parish entity.
right,
Right.
it's going to cost.
Correct.
After dark.
Right. Just if they turn the lights on after, yeah.
They can use
obviously
them
after
during.
dark.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like if they go in the gym, they got to turn the lights on.
Correct.
We had a motion made by Councilman Lambert, seconded by Councilman Joseph. And Mike, I had one quick question. As far as who's going to decide if a season was a success?
We would just sit down and see, within, in front of you guys or within ourselves, just to, look at the numbers, see the turnouts, see the interest and so forth. Anything in its infancy needs to be looked at just to see if you want to further it.
Any other questions?
No, please.
Okay. All right.
All right, thank you.
Oh, well, hold on, I have one more question.
He asked the question of if the season was a success. And I guess, I'm going to ask the question on the West Bank, but what was the numbers? Are our numbers increasing because of travel league ball or decreasing?
I know
In baseball?
In baseball, it's decreasing.
Okay. Then, I know on the West Bank, we have the same problem, too. And I guess what can we do to change that? Like you say, I know on my side of the river, I get the question, well, my kids don't have nothing to do. And I'm looking at this pricing right here, where you're saying registration is $10 to $30,
That's just what they pay to the parish. That's not registration for the league.
And that's what I want to,
Right.
That's where I'm going.
Right.
I mean, we saying one thing, and the parent need to know that, because like you say, they register over there. I think the registration over there now is,
Like she just said, the registration they're speaking of is for directly to us. That's from the association to the parish. But
Yeah,
what
it's-
we do over there, they have association, parent to association cost fee that they have to pay, which is $30 for baseball or basketball.
And their fees usually include probably some uniforms too.
Uniforms, pants or shirt or,
okay, so this 10, well, once we decide if it's 10 or $30, we get that, parish get that,
correct.
and then the association add some more to it.
But
And we don't, yeah.
I understand, well, okay, but you have to understand, I'm asking this question so the public understand this, because I get this question asked all the time. I paid $30 for my registration fee, or sometime $40, whatever the price is. And where does that money go? No, that money don't come to the parish.
not on the west side, it doesn't. On the east side, it does. On the west side, it does not.
And that's why this ordinance is trying to be on the same, what we're trying to do is put everything on the same, once we create this ordinance, everybody would be on the same rule, correct?
Under one written rule.
And that's, I just want them to
Yeah.
understand that. Okay,
People.
that's the only question I got. Thanks.
That's,
Go ahead.
yeah, take it on.
Going to Lamar Dixon, where we have several buildings that are designated as recreational facilities, and we lease them. The gym, for instance, heretofore was not leased, it was the YMCA. So we had to sort of structure something by which we could lease these items. The gym, we suggest for nonprofit organizations, $750 the first day and $500 for each additional day. That gym's a big space, takes a lot of lights and a lot of air conditioning, okay? And in researching the general market, I found that these were actually probably about 10 to 15% less than comparable facilities that were being leased. But we're trying to keep in mind that these are recreational facilities. If I have an AAU basketball team that comes in there to practice for an hour and a half, I can't charge them $150. They won't come, you know. So $25 an hour, minimum of 2 hours, because when you flip those switches, like I said, it really spins. The gym for private use or for profit, where there's some sort of tournament going on, they're going to charge at the door, they're going to sell concessions. We figure $12.50 for the first day, $7.50 for the second, and $500 for each additional day. That seems to go over pretty well. Yes, sir.
On the gym, I have $1,000 per.
Yeah, I know, that was incorrect, I'm sorry, it should be
Okay.
$12.50. The commissary, which since we have divided that building in two, and part of it is the LSU Agricultural Extension, it has taken away the viability of leasing it as a kitchen or as a commissary, okay? In the 3 years we've been out there, I've never experienced a great demand for it. Very few people call and inquire about it. But as you can see, $250 a day, $1250 a week, and $5,000 a month. That should include the utilities. In the past, when I did rent it, I think it was when, who was out there? BP was out there, and they were catering. They were catering round the clock because they had crew out there. We tried segregating the utility bill from the regular rent, and it just causes all kinds of confusion, and naturally, they don't want to pay the utility bill and the rent, and they think they, you know, whatever. So we just thought about it and said, okay, the best thing to do is combine the two, don't break them out, and say, this is your bill, pay it. And then we pay the utilities out of that. We took the information that we garnered from their stay in there, their tenure in there, and figured out what the utilities were running, because there's a sub-meter in that building by which you can tell exactly how many kilowatt hours are used. And then Again, research on what the commercial square footage for the going market rate was, and 5,000 a month is a very reasonable price. The chapel itself, we rent for $400. That includes a couple of hours, like an evening or so before, for a rehearsal and decorating and whatever they want. And then they actually get it all day, the day of their wedding, so that there's no confusion. You can go in there at 7 in the morning and put stuff in there. Nobody goes in. We take care of the opening and closing. I don't get any beefs about $400 for that chapel. It's a remarkable piece of property, and I have no trouble renting it at all. Right now, I'm probably scheduling about 40, 45 weekends a year. And I could do more, except that we just now are figuring out the maintenance issue of getting someone in there to clean it up in between weddings. Because there, I could probably book back-to-back another 25%.
Right.
People are wanting to get married. I keep trying to talk them out of it, but it doesn't work. So that's what we've got. The only two changes on that sheet should be the $1,250 for the first day for the gym, and then $400 for the chapel.
Right.
And again, I never get questioned on that. When somebody, I just had a basketball 2-day tournament in there, the AAU, and wrote me out a check big time for 2 days.
Beth, you need to move this to the full council? You need a motion tonight on for these costs?
I don't know that we can't encapsulate this with the same
With the ordinance?
ordinance,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine.
Because this is really the first time to set a standard, because these buildings have not been used for this
Okay.
before. Or not rented as
That's
per
good.
se recreational facilities. And that's the ag building, the commissary, the gym, and the chapel.
Okay.
And the green space is kind of hard to figure out, because it doesn't cost us anything at this point in time. So a lot of people go back there for different things, not for big parties or anything like that, but it is, you know, we run into the issue of, okay, it's a public park. We can't guarantee you that no one else will show up out there to fish with their grandchild or something, but if you want to go out there and have a picnic, that's fine. So at this point, we really don't have an issue about charging for the green space. I agree, you know, like I said, it doesn't cost us anything, so it helps keep the flavor of recreation out at Lamar-Dixon, public service at Lamar-Dixon. It's a good space, really good, very popular. Any questions?
I don't believe.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. We'll go to number 6 on the agenda.
Good evening. Do the update for Donaldsonville. We have a couple of programs that one was put in place, I think, the last time we met, which was the pitch hit and run. Free event for ages 7 through 14. This year was held on May 13th, got moved. It was supposed to be May 11th. It rained on that Saturday, so I rescheduled it for that Monday. Being so, it may have hindered it a little bit. We had small numbers. It was our first year. So we're kind of looking forward to next year and kind of, you know, getting the word out there a little bit more. We had 4 kids that advanced to the regionals in St. Gabriel with Mr. Mark Peters, which was held that following weekend. The next program was the Hershey Track and Field. It's a free event for ages 7 to 14. It was held on May 18th at Donaldsonville High School track. We had about 20 participants attend, and out of the 20 that attended, we have 16 that have made it to Lafayette, Louisiana for June 29th. It's our 3rd year with the program. It's our 2nd year. CF has sponsored us $600 to provide healthy snacks and water and things like that for the kids. So that's a plus. Our basketball program ended in, I think it was January. Basically, the last thing we met about basketball, we had a meeting with the president. Mike and I did, and Gorney did, past director did. And we basically met to discuss a plan for next year on what we would like to see. Basically, the next step, I think, from that meeting was a association's meeting with past association members and board members to reconnect and try to come up with a master plan of what, what corrections they can make from the years before. Also, briefly, I know in a previous meeting, we spoke about a summer league for basketball. We're still interested, and like they said, they brought up programs and having volunteers as such. We need many volunteers to run, the programs and things like that. So if anybody's interested in doing a summer league basketball program for the kids, we do have full use of the old DHS gym in Donaldsonville. And, we want to go ahead and get some programs running in there. Baseball, we basically started about 2 weeks ago, had a great start. They basically play games on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Right now, we just added, I think the 13 through 15-year-olds has added, I think, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So last year, I know Mr. Oliver asked about the numbers of kids. Last year, we had about 210 kids. This year, we have about 165. So we had a slight decrease in numbers. And some of them are saying due to travel ball and maybe for some other reasons. Any questions about programs?
Yeah, on the basketball program, you know the numbers was for basketball?
I don't have them, but I can get back to you with them.
Okay.
I'm not sure of what, I don't think it was much of a decrease with basketball from what I remember from the association telling me. But I would have to look at the reports and find out.
And I also know we had gave the city of Donaldsonville a little minor changes to the agreement.
Yeah, I think I don't know if we discussed it last time, but let's see if I can remember. I think it was, we soon found out we have two separate agreements going on. We have an agreement between us, the Basketball Association, and the city of Donaldsonville, basically giving us our duties on what needs to happen and basically putting a time schedule on when basketball needs to turn in certain paperwork and things of that nature. Also, the city is now going to collect the registration funds instead of the association themselves. And from there, the city then provides, after registration is collected, they provide the funds for the association to purchase uniforms, which is the T-shirts, basically.
And we didn't have no problem with that. They all agreed to that term?
Yeah, everybody signed it. It's already agreed upon, so it's in effect for next year.
And baseball, once again, we dropped losing numbers in recreation. I don't know what we can do. I hope Mike can change those numbers, as a new director, and we get more involvement with the community into recreation. 2 years ago, the numbers was going out the hat. I think with baseball, we was almost close to 1,000 kids as a whole.
Yeah, we have 661 T-ballers this year.
Right. I know the numbers was high, in
Yeah, our
the
T-ball
past.
didn't go down. It's just the other age groups that went down.
340 of them were the 3 and 4-year-old program that we started year before last.
So,
I know, I think for the West Side, we lost softball because they have no softball. Years before, last year it was decreasing then. So they have lost softball altogether. They have no softball teams. Parks and facilities, Lori Park, if you've never visited, we have 2 pavilions that have been built in the last year, and also a playground area there. Recently, we have started the process of building a new restroom there. I passed today, the structure is up, the roof is up there. Basically, right now, I think we're just waiting for the water company to put in a water tap so we can get everything in line as far as Lori Park is concerned. The Frank Sotil Pavilion rentals. Use of this pavilion has been outstanding. I basically rented the pavilion every weekend in probably about May, I think so. With the Yander Productions, with the movie Bonnie and Clyde, they rented it for more than a month almost, so we got much use out of it for the last month. We also had a lot of graduation parties and birthday parties during this month. Being so, we teamed up with the Sheriff Department, Mr. Dean Werner. I met with him, and he's basically been helping us out, keeping an eye on the parties and things like that, and reporting if he sees something that's not in, rules and regulations of what we have. So far, it's been working out great. South Louisiana Fairgrounds Master Plan. In the first week of April, we had a community, master plan community meeting that was held. Several community members came out, several community leaders were there. We had a lot of community input. Basically, we went over things that were expected as far as timeframes, cost, who would benefit from this project, what changes are being done to the fairgrounds. And basically, a lot of the community came out and they spoke on what they thought, they gave their input of what they thought they may want to see inside of the fairgrounds, or some other changes, or if they agreed upon the changes that we were making, or if they had any suggestions. So I did bring the overview of what the master plan
Can you
looked like.
put that up? All right, so, and I was at that meeting, and like Ms. Aja said, the community, city council of Donaldsonville liked it. We had about 30 to 40 community beings there, and they really liked the plan, the vision of it. As you can see, the baseball field, with improvements on the baseball field, La Field is one of the major ones. We know we have to improve it. The stand's been there for longer than so that's one of the big improvements. We modified some of the parking. There's an issue in that area, so we modified the parking. As you can see, we put some soccer fields on there that can be converted to a football field. And the big thing is President with the water spray park. We have that added in there with a playground area for the kids and everything, one Pacific area. They really liked it. That they looking forward for that water spray park. And in that area, we don't have any outdoor basketball courts in Donaldsonville, so we added 2 outside basketball courts, even a small skateboard park, which the kids over there right now is going up and down everywhere, just like Gonzales was, just to get some skateboarding in. So we added that. We see a building there right now that we can renovate and make it as a building for weddings or whatever. Even when baseball teams have their tournament, they can have their little reception there for trophies and everything. That's about it. And like I say, everybody, I would like to make a motion that we adopt this plan, master plan. We never had one before on the West Bank, and it's a good plan. And I would make that a motion that we adopt that plan.
Second, I had one question also. I see we have 3 softball fields, and I just heard you say we didn't have any softball. That's girls softball, right? I see you have 3 softball fields in that left corner up there
Well, right now, they're being used,
as hardball, boys baseball.
these 2, all 3 of them, this is on T-ball field now,
Okay,
and these 2 are used, 7 and 8-year-olds and 9 and 10.
I got you. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I remember them there.
We got a motion by Mr. Joseph and a motion by Councilman Lambert to adopt a fairground plan, a master plan.
That's it. Any more questions?
Wait, appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
good work.
We had one chair addition, had a report for Bayou Manshake.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Jonathan Scott. I'm with the Bayou Manshak Group. I wanted to talk to you briefly about paddle opportunities on Bayou Manshak. Bayou Manchac is the northern boundary of Ascension Parish. It was added to the State Scenic Rivers Program a couple of years back. The bayou has really cleaned up in recent years, and we're seeing a large uptake in the number of paddlers who are utilizing Bayou Manchac. Recently, we had a celebration of, I think it was the 314th year of Iberville's first paddle down Bayou Manchac. We had about 20 people participate in that, including 3 people from the Bayou Haystackers, which is one of the largest paddle groups and oldest in Louisiana. Very impressed with the bayou. Amazed that they hadn't been there before. The big problem that we have is access. There's only one public access point in all of Bayou Manchac, and that is at the back of Muddy Creek subdivision. Ascension has this 10-mile long waterway that is perfectly suited to paddle sports. It's too narrow really for recreational boating unless you're just idling, and that sort of helps limit the traffic right there. Because it's scenic, you still feel like you're lost. A lot of opportunities for wildlife, bird watching. We have alligators, we have otters, every sort of water bird that you can imagine. The parish, from what I understand, already owns a couple of properties along Bayou Manchac. And what I'd like to ask you to consider is adding the pursuit of Bayou Manchac as a designated paddle trail to your recreation master plan, and allow me to work with Mr. Mueller to pursue some grants that are available through the State Department of Recreation and Parks to develop a trailhead, and that would presumably be on one of the properties that the parish owns or acquires. And that particular grant that's available now is an 80-20 grant. They reimburse 80% after the fact with another grant that they get from DOTD for trails, recreation trails. We're also talking with Iberville Parish about connecting it to the trail along Bayou Paul, Alligator Bayou Road that's heavily used by the Baton Rouge Bicycle Club, and with Breck. And it's thought that if we can get all 3 parishes together to pursue a grant, that we would have a much, individual grants but connected, that we would have a much better opportunity for funding. Breck is on board. They're ready to go. Their first trailhead for Bayou Manchac, I believe they're going to pursue at the Airline Highway Fairgrounds, which is right there at Bayou Manchac. And a couple of properties that the parish has would be just a perfect intermediate, 30 minutes to an hour on the water paddle, which is what most of your just general public is more interested in. A lot of people want to go out; they don't want to spend all day. A nice little short jaunt where they can get out with a bathroom facility would be ideal. Paddle sports is growing nationwide at a rate of, the reports I see are about 17% a year. Kayak fishing is huge. It's again just the largest sector in boat sales. And when people go to an area to paddle, they're hungry when they get off the water. They're going to look for the first restaurant that they can get to, and so this could really be an opportunity to bring people, not only people in the parish, getting them outside and recreating, but also bringing people from outside the parish to a destination where they can spend a little bit more money in the parish on their way out.
The facility that the parish owns, do we have enough land there to park? To actually, that's going to be the issue.
Sure,
you need a place to
sure.
go park so you can get your canoe or whatever out and go.
Right. Well,
I'm not.
Cotton Bayou.
okay. Well, yeah, so, yeah.
It's gonna be a
these
seasonal
property-
thing.
yes,
You
it's
got to work
seasonal thing.
around the
Yeah, I
flooding.
mean,
We're aware of that.
yeah, if
Anything
you
on Bayou
lose-
Manchac, you're gonna have to.
If you lose a week, you know, currently there is the properties I'm aware of are probably in the 3/4 acre size.
Yeah.
You know, relatively small. There's another property that is available at Highway 73 that I've been talking to Councilman Lohr about. That one is 2 acres. And I'm not sure if he had approached any of you guys about that particular property. And that property being closer to a highway is very attractive, and definitely would have space for that. And if the parish pursued that, I believe they might pursue that through the drainage program for access to the bayou, since the parish doesn't have anything on the upper end of the parish for debris removal from the bayou. So, you know, essentially,
Yeah.
you know, what we're looking for is for the parish to you know, to allow Mr. Moeller and myself to work towards applying for a grant, and perhaps designating Bayou Manchac as a paddle trail. The state is just now in its infancy in designating paddle trails. All the other Gulf states already have this designation. Louisiana doesn't. They're putting that list together now, and we would very much like to be on that list for funding opportunities in the future.
Parish President, you on board?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, and I think the Cotton Bayou site, something that we could utilize, but again, it'd be kind of hard to build a
Yeah.
bathroom there
Yeah,
because
that one
it goes under, so
well-
that's not a very good,
Yeah.
it may be something that you could use from time to
Parking.
time, but it wouldn't be,
Yeah.
I would not recommend it as a permanent fix
Correct.
to that deal.
Right.
And the other properties that you're talking about up by 73, I've not had an opportunity to look at that property. Have you
Okay.
been out there, Mike? Okay. Okay. And, you know, they're building some apartments up on the top part by Airline Highway, Mr. Matt McKay. I think we could approach him also for possibility on the Bayou Bank to possibly do something like that for us. If I didn't think about it, he was in my office the other day, and it's something I could have discussed with him. Have y'all discussed with him?
Yes, sir, and he did talk about putting in a paddle launch for the residents of the apartments. It gets a little bit awkward when you have the general public trying to go in to your
To the
location.
apartment, yeah.
There's a subdivision on.
But I would assure you that if we said we would maintain it, that he would probably
This is-
put it right on the line, and it would be something that would be accessible to
Yes,
to
sir.
everyone. So, I mean, but I will certainly be happy to go look at that other property.
There are several. I mean, there are several options, and out there. It's just that whenever you're wanting to take a paddle trip, you want to have you know, it's not a lake, you know, where you just paddle around in circles. You know, paddle trails, you want to have a start point and an end point. And again, there's only a single launch in the entirety of Bayou Manchac that's open to the public right now, and that is the one at Cotton Bayou. It's really not very suitable for boats based on the type of construction. But again, it's tiny. You might park 4 or 5 cars there, and that's it. But right now we have nothing, absolutely nothing. When we held our anniversary paddle, we had to get permission from Frank Bonifay there at Alligator Bayou, which is up to his discretion, you know, whether or not that day he would allow somebody to launch or not. and, launch in knee-deep mud, to get into the bayou. But the trip is gorgeous, absolutely picture-perfect, gorgeous. I highly recommend that you guys come out and join us one time.
Appreciate it.
I think we can go ahead and pursue the grants. And how did your talks go with Iberville?
Initially, not very far yet. I wanted to try to cement, you guys first, because, our focus for the Bayou Manchac is first and foremost, the waterway, and the bicycle trail is an excellent add-on to that. But without the paddle trail component of it, it's just not that attractive. Like I said, East Baton Rouge is ready to move on a launch, a grant for a launch at the state fairgrounds.
Okay.
But again, they wanted to wait and see if they could say that they are doing this in conjunction with another parish.
No, I don't think that would be a problem for us. So,
All right, great.
Councilman Joseph has a question.
The only question is, when you say part of the master plan, I know we have an engineer firm working on a plan as far as some things in Lamar Dixon, Mike. Okay, have we added those things like the frisbee volleyball, and somebody came up with something else, I can't remember what it was, and now we have a paddle trail, Yeah, frisbee golf or whatever. Disc golf, whatever. But, those part of it is part of that plan that, I'm hoping
I'll
that we can
talk to
see
Mr.
something come,
I'll talk to Mr. Poche and ask him to add that to the plan.
yeah. And so, that's all. I just wanted to make sure we get all that on the plan. Because all these programs we add, we get money from other departments. He mentioned the drainage department. And, if it have to come out of anything we have to purchase right now, it probably have to come out of general fund. So, once again, it also depends on funding. I know you say grant, but once again, whatever that 20% is, it have to come from somewhere that we have to figure out. If I'm mistaken, Mr. Martinez?
I actually talked to someone today from Washington about the firm that we hired, about Biomanchac and some possibilities of getting some grants there also. So, it might be a good timing for this. But we'll add it to the master plan. It never hurts to do so, and it's hopefully something that give you another form of recreation here in the parish. Never can have too many.
Yes, sir. And I would like to say too that just from my experience with the plants, I've worked in the plants here in Ascension Parish for 14 years. This is a period of economic expansion. The time has never been more right to approach some of the plants to perhaps help with that 20%.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Move to agenda item number 8.
Motion adjourned. Chairman?
Second.
Motion adjourned by Councilman Lambert, seconded by Councilman Joseph.
I had one other thing. I just want to say that in our Memorial Day service, some of the people that take care of the park expressed a concern to me that the park's been vandalized. They wrote graffiti 3 times on our stage area that was just painted and all brand new. So we've had to paint it for the 3rd time. So just want to let you know that I'm planning on putting a camera out there, and if we can catch these people, we're going to make sure that they pay the price. So.
Thank you. All right. We had a motion by Councilman Lambert for me to adjourn and seconded by Councilman Joseph. Meeting adjourned.